Property Deconstructed. It's a collective wisdom of property and real estate with Marco Ricallo from Master Advocates. My name is Pat Panetta from Tell Your Story Media. Our special guest, Kate Bakos, is back in the studio. Kate, welcome back to our chat here.
Yeah, deep in conversation. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat. No, it's
So
all happening.
why it's worth investing in a buyer's agent, we've covered off a few points, but what about the experience and why it's vital for your buyer's advocate to have a purchase history that you can look into?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a big problem at the moment. Unfortunately, we've had an influx of new agents, and not only do they have insufficient experience, they're going into other states where the training that they have to do, or the accreditation that they have to get to be licensed, is much, much smaller than what they would in Victoria. So here it's a diploma course, and you need to work under someone for a full year.
Right.
And then you can apply for your licence. And unfortunately, if you're moving from another state, you can get mutual recognition and come straight in. Now, there's one state in particular that has a 5-day course. And some of these operators offering the courses are actually not necessarily making sure that everyone's doing all of the modules required for that 5-day course. So we've got some people that aren't even doing any work, paying for a licence, transferring it to Victoria and getting started. And, 2 weeks ago they were doing something else, or a tradesperson, or had a completely different career. And the mere idea of practicing on a client with the client's money, it runs a shiver down anyone's spine. But it's a problem for us because consumers aren't asking the right questions, and they're not differentiating us from people that are brand new. And it's fair to say that there'll be a percentage of these brand new entrants that one day might be great buyers agents. But
you don't want them testing out their system on you, do you?
That's exactly right. I mean, the benefit of working under someone that's giving you great guidance and picking up the mistakes before they go live, that's what training is all about. And I know from my point of view, and you'd be the same, Mark, I've trained buyers agents that have worked for me, and I find that the training period, until I can really let them loose and let them talk to the client and make decisions, is more than 2 years.
Oh, big time. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd agree. 2 years minimum, and then you're still, number of transactions that you get to handle and be familiar with in 2 years isn't much in the scheme of things that they're trusting you with. A good amount of money, and property prices aren't decreasing in value. Every dollar counts for them. Yeah. But it's not that initial dollar value. It's more, where's the concern or welfare for their own professional credibility or insurance. There'll be lack of professional indemnity, and we've touched on that, but also the welfare for the clients, because that saying, you profit when you buy, you're not going to find out about the mistakes made with a bad asset that's been invested in until years down the track. Yeah, right. And it's too late, and you find people's lives are destroyed. Yes. And they could be paying off debts even if they sell the property, not matching up with the dollar value it's actually worth. A lot of trouble. So as you say, years down the track it reveals itself, but have you had to come in, Mark, a bit earlier and clean up a mess? Someone's got into a tangle and they pick up the phone. I guess maybe that's... Probably in some cases where people have had a bad experience but they haven't had made a transaction yet. In those cases we've taken over, but it's still, I think, fairly raw and fresh, this whole gaining a licence without experience in the field. I think that will be a few years down the track to see, like you mentioned, Kate, the ones that can rise to the top and actually perform based on whatever transferred experiences they've got in life, and which ones will damage their clients' financial future. And Kate, were you sort of guided by anybody, your training, where you are now?
Absolutely. Yeah, my background is a bit of a patchwork quilt, Pat. I started as a chemist and went into property 20 years ago to this year. Yes. And I worked as a sales agent for a while, which was great. You understand the journey that vendors go on, the cycle of listing and marketing and selling a property, dealing with buyers, negotiating auction day, post-sale settlement, all that stuff. And then I was a mortgage broker for 4.5 years. So I really gained an understanding of cash flow, lending policy, all of the steps that lenders take you through. Yeah. And I'm an investor myself, so that was a nice background. But in terms of my training, absolutely, I had to work under someone, and I'd already had I had my agents reps and then got my accreditation through Swinburne for my Cert 4, and I had my 1 year, but I wanted to work under someone as a buyer's agent, and he's still a lifelong mentor and a friend of mine, yes. Really lovely guy. helped us establish the setup of the agency, and the rest is history. But to contemplate doing something 2 weeks ago and then bouncing into a career like this without someone.
Yeah, and you said it sends shivers up your spine. Yeah. Imagine getting somebody, and you've got that all-rounded experience. I love that too, that you've been on the mortgage broking side and the grassroots of it all.
Yeah,
so
what's surprising is so many of our REBA members have a really interesting history in terms of their earlier careers. We've got an intensive care nurse, we've got accountants. One of our members has a PhD, I think, in economics. So some really
property
sharp
valuers
cookies.
too. There's a good range of experience, and that's probably where we have our state conferences and training workshops. There's a good collective enthusiasm and share of knowledge. And that goes on to even with REBA members and the importance of accreditation and if we expand on, I guess, the importance of having a certain level of experience and accreditation in the industry. If there's anything else you wanted to share there, Kate.
No, I just think the cross-section of skills and backgrounds, it's quite incredible. But what we've all got in common is we're very, very passionate and very protective of our clients, and we're all independent. And that independence word, I can't speak about that highly enough. If you're working exclusively for a buyer, you are serving them.
Right. Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up again, that independent. You want to know the person is batting for you and not sort of, having other incentives pulling them away from the task at hand.
Yeah, and that's a great thing with REBA. Even if some of us travel interstate and myself personally, I just work in Victoria, but there's such a broad range of representation across the country now and growing, getting up close to 90 companies as members. So I think that's a great thing, that you can lean on, knowing that if there's someone looking interstate as a client, you can confidently refer and know they're taking care of them.
Absolutely.
The difference, what buyers can expect, I'm reading my notes here, when engaging a REBA buyer's agent. So, I guess we've covered that, the difference between, choosing a REBA agent and someone who's not. I mean, that's basically been covered, a lot. Is anything left unsaid with that, do you think, Kate?
No, everybody's got their own style and their own, kit of, presentation material and collateral, etc. But the one thing that we've all got in common, we should be able to demonstrate to the client all of those typical questions that a savvy buyer will ask. So I often have someone who's downloaded our checklist off the website and they say, can I ask you about your insurance? And I think I know those questions. I wrote some of them. And that's a good thing. But we are all very articulate and very passionate about what we do, and we're very clear to define exactly what the bounds of our scope is, whether we're specialising in a particular area or we specialise with investors only or homeowners only. There's a lot of diversity there, but in terms of being polished and professional and being able to provide all of those essential things, every REBA member can do that.
Yes, and asking those questions. I mean, people should have the courage to, not that they haven't got the courage, but sometimes they just don't ask the question, or they feel like maybe it's a dumb question.
They assume they're meant to know.
Question. Yeah, they assume they're meant to know, but just go in there and ask the questions and maybe, grill your agent there for a bit and just work out what you're dealing with.
It's a job interview, every time in between, especially in real estate, any side of the fence, you're always in a new job interview. You're there to serve the client's need. But Kate's, good point. Our checklist is on everything Kate's covered today in detail about what REBA represents and what you can expect. The website does have checklists that you can download, the social media pages for REBA on Facebook and LinkedIn have some other posts about the checklist, which is good.
Good resource for our...
Great resource.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, Pat.
Yeah. Exactly right. Oh, yeah. And I don't know lots of things and I just sort of ask questions and that's the only way to find out. REBAA.com.au is the website. So nice and easy. REBA.com.au is the website for that. Now, being the president of REBA, the evolution of that organisation, is it going anywhere that we can talk about? Tell us a bit about that organisation and you, your time as president.
I've had a great time as president. This is my 4th year, and that's a long stint. And I've had some wonderful past presidents that I've been able to lean on for support. It's a voluntary gig, and it does take up a bit of time, but it's certainly helped me grow as well. I've learnt a lot and gained a lot. And REBA's now been going for almost 23 years. It was started initially by a small collective of guys who reached out to each other and I wouldn't use the words quickly grown, but it's grown beautifully, very organically, because we all reach out to good operators and people that we regard highly and bring them into the fold. And so that natural growth rate, when you've got people sponsoring you to come on board, it means that you've got a lot of like-minded professionals. Yes. And REBAA's always got to focus on various things that are really important, usually multiple focuses. And I've absolutely enjoyed some of the things that we've been challenged by and overcome or been able to give our members a lot more value. And some of the things that we're working on at the moment are actually including training for new members and for existing members.
Great.
And,
exciting. Yeah.
And reaching out to some of our industry partners and collaborating. Mark and I have certainly been involved in some really exciting things with our local REIs as well.
Right. So you'll be offering training and just expanding what you do.
It's a work in progress, but that's absolutely the goal.
Right.
Yeah, setting higher standards, for competency competency too. So it's been really exciting, been great.
Yes.
And Kate's been a great leader at REBAA too. So
Yep.
yeah, it was really good having you here and sharing with us today as well.
Yeah, and you enjoy being part of that group. I think you've got a lot of different groups that you sort of attend, Mark. So REBAA's.
I've tried a lot of different groups and then worked out which ones really fit with what I resonate with and what I like and don't like, and I think found some good homes that align, which is great. But you've got to always explore. But yeah, REBAA's always been a great association and great people.
Yes. And it's a great, job, but, you're changing lives or you're guiding people through, well, you are. It's one of the big sort of decisions of anybody's life, and it can be life-changing, so that's sort of a pretty special thing to be doing as well.
Yeah, it's a privileged role, that's for sure.
Well, thanks for coming in. Have we covered all our bits, do you think, Mark?
I believe so. It's been great amount of detail. Thanks so much for sharing, Kate.
Yeah. Good on you. Thanks for coming into the Tell Your Story Media studios. We've mentioned the website. Now we can also find, we can find you we can Google your name as well, Kate. Yeah, yes. You're there. I know you're there.
I'm on the REBAA website too.
And Mark, thanks again for coming in and having our special guest, Kate Bakos, in the studio today. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Pat.